Welcome to Darnley Cyber Cafe. Coffee break time. You got a few minutes? This is an unscripted, raw podcast about my views and perspectives on things that are going on in the world. Episode 81, The Hack That Shook the Wayback Machine. Now, have you ever heard of the Wayback Machine and archive.org? Now, just yesterday, on October 10th, 2024, word spread out about the Wayback Machine that was hacked, resulted in leaking 31 million email addresses. Now, the Wayback Machine, which is one of the internet's greatest assets as far as I'm concerned, you're essentially able to go back in time to view how websites looked, felt, and the various reports that were made at a time. You know, things such as, MTV and all that fun stuff that, if you were born prior to 2000, some of the things that you wanted to see, you get to see again. Now, given how dynamic the internet is, understand that nothing's ever permanent. So it's nice to have a resource that keeps those incremental backups of the internet as it were many years ago. Like I said earlier, I sometimes go down memory lane using this tool. It's kind of cool to kind of see. It may not be fully functional, mind you, but some of the reports, news reports, things that were going on at that time, you could get the information from. So it's a really cool thing. If you've never experienced it or you didn't know it existed, well, right now it's kind of hard to get to it, but once everything's back up and running, it is a excellent resource and an excellent website to go look at things how they were back in time. But unfortunately, this, as I call it, a double-tapped hack, was made by an unknown hacker or hackers who stole the database containing 31 million user records, which included things like usernames, email addresses, the password changes, and the hashed passwords that were in those websites. According to Bleeping Computer, they spoke to one of the website's creator, a Troy Hunt, who confirmed about 6.4 gigabytes of data was stolen. Hunt also claimed that the hack itself occurred on September 28th, 2024. Now, if you're concerned about this, which all of us should be in some way, shape, or form, check out Have I Been Pwned? Pwned spelled with a P, so PWNED. This is a great website to see if you're affected by this breach. Now, I'm not sure if it's completely updated at the time of this recording, but check out the site again a few times, the weeks prior to see if you can get some accurate results before you assume you've dodged that bullet. Now, the second hack tap, like I mentioned, for archive.org, was done by a DDoS attack, which brought the site down, which still is as of the time of this recording. But I just want to quickly say, from a cybersecurity standpoint, this incident highlights these vulnerabilities in systems that manage these massive archives of data, and understand the implications for archiving platforms like the Wayback Machine are severe, as they rely on the integrity of the stored data. Breaches like this can compromise not only the privacy of users, but think about the authenticity of the historical records, which you may be aware that certain individuals and government officials would like to purge historical evidence for their benefit. Now, I'm not just saying this because, first thing I say these things, people are like, oh, you're conspiracy theorists. Well, no, as I always say, the devil is in the details. And something like this is really something we all should consider, because if this historical resource, which goes back 10 plus years, mind you, you just think about the news article and stuff like that. So you can just think about the amount of evidence that could be brought in, because sometimes things happen in small increments, and you can piece things together and find evidence like a detective does in a crime scene. And online, this is crucial because you can wipe something. It's not always. Actually, I always used to say, things were stored in digital ink, which means it can be changed. But websites like this, the Wayback Machine and archive.org, kind of give some sort of, it sort of validates the things we post online, the things that cannot be erased, that would be stored forever. And this could be a good and bad thing. There's on a sort of positive light, it's good to have this so that we can go back in time and see how things were, how things were reported, like some news articles that reported about a certain something, so that, we have some sort of historical evidence. Because as you see through time, things like book burning and deletion, censorship, etc. This is why it's important for the internet to remain neutral, because the second someone or a government agency gets a hold of these records that doesn't benefit them or puts them in a good light, they will look at things to destroy this piece of evidence for their own benefit. So just to furthermore to that tangent, the denial of service attack, which made the archive inaccessible, and again is still inaccessible at the time of this recording, demonstrates how crucial the availability is for this sort of platform. And those who have not heard about this website, like I said, it's a game changer. It's something that you should really think about accessing or looking at in time, understanding that, it's not always, things that you post online isn't always gone forever, right? And I don't mean it as a threat. I'm just stating sort of like you can find anything and everything you want on the internet. So again, this should be a stark reminder for all those who still use the same email addresses from 10 plus years ago. They have these emails since high school or before then. So just another reminder to change your passwords. Use identity theft protection to stop fraud. Also, in the meantime, understand that with all these records, and if your email address was included in these records, or this breach, there's going to be some attack against you with fake emails or something seems similar. So if you see anything that makes you feel funny, angry, or urgent to do something, stop and take a moment to think. Remember, trust no one. The truth is out there. Thank you, my friends. Now get back to work. Cheers.